Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Legacy Builder series. I am your host, Ace Randall. Thank you guys for coming onto the broadcast. If you are on, please share with your followers. If you're on Facebook, share with your followers. Welcome to those that are watching also on YouTube. Also, just as a quick thought, I want to extend out a thank you very much to everyone that helped me celebrate my 40th birthday on yesterday. Technically, I'm celebrating 3 days in a row. And so I just want to tell you all, thank you so much. This is a milestone for me. And crossing over into my 40s is giving me a new lease on life. And my mindset is in a whole different place. And I am going after my dreams, my goals, my destinies. By any means necessary. And so, you know, you all sharing your love, those of you all have been my friends for years that came on the live on yesterday to share your love and just to share how you see my progress and where I'm headed in life. I thank you so much. I almost had a very teary-eyed moment on yesterday. So thank you all so very, very much. Also, as well, before we get started, I have an amazing guest that's on with us today. He also celebrated his birthday on yesterday as well. So when you come in, I want you to extend your love and tell your happy birthdays to him as well, so that we can welcome him to the Legacy Builder series. But before I announce him, again, this has been a milestone shift and change in my life. I just want to give this as an inspirational thought to you. It does not matter how old you are. It does not matter where you are in the place of your life. If you have not achieved the goals that you want to go after, you can start right now. You can start today. Don't allow an age, don't allow what's going on in your body or any type of physical ailments or loss or anything to stop you from your focus to achieving what it is that you want to achieve. You know, we're talking about building and creating legacy. In order to leave a legacy behind, you have to first build it. And so I want you to think that regardless, I don't care if you felt like you're in your prime and you felt like you surpassed your prime, you feel like you've gotten too old, you are never too old to go after your dreams, your goals, and your destiny. So just wanted to inspire you with that really quick. So let's go ahead and dive on into the show, and let's go ahead and properly introduce our guest of the hour. Stay tuned.
Legacy Builder, celebrity guest. Actor Victor Love. Founder of EVOLV Atlanta Acting Studio. Acted in TV series and films such as The Final Shot, The Hank Gathers Story. Heaven is a Playground. Native Son, with Oprah Winfrey. A Different World.
Honey, let me tell you about his voice.
Freddie?
I can hear it. Do I know you?
It's me, Jamal.
A very tall drink of water. Yes. Happy Chastity. Yes, hello.
Jamal. Jamal, I'm sorry, I can't quite place you, man.
I'm your prison pen pal. You told me that when I was done doing my time, I should look you up.
You're a convict. I mean, you're an ex-convict.
I prefer the term ex-offender.
Oh, sure. Hey, no offense. I mean, ex-offense. So when did you get out?
Last week.
Oh, that's great. Great. Congratulations. What do they say? Happy release, merry parole?
West Wing and the Resident. Stay tuned as we experience the journey of how Victor Love built his legacy.
Thank you, my friend, for coming on to the show, for being with us. Also, happy birthday to you as well.
Oh man, thanks so much. Thank you. God,
How does it
what
feel?
a wonderful.
Oh, no problem.
I'm looking at all those old things that I've done. I'm like, wow, that really happened to me. Those were some fun times. It were fun times.
Indeed, I gotta pay honor to what you've come from and what you've done in your journey, and it's all about building and creating legacy, and you have definitely given your mark and your imprint on the world. So, the world thank you for your contribution to your acting career.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Great. So, as we both have already shared that we both share the same date of birthday. So again, birthday to you. Just share again with what you do, what you actually did on birthday.
Wow, on my birthday, I let go of expectations yesterday, and I woke up. I woke up to some wonderful texts from friends I had not seen in a long time, people that I love. And I remember the first one that I got, and I looked at it. It was from her, from a friend, and I said, she said, "Happy birthday. I love you." And I said, "Oh my God, you still love me?" Because I hadn't heard from her for a while. And she goes, "Always." And then from there, it was just up there. My mama, my sister, several friends. It was really wonderful. Then I ate. And then I kept getting these texts. Then I have applied for a house. There's a house that I've been wanting, and I hadn't heard anything. And so I was making alternate plans. Like, what am I going to do if it doesn't come through? Well, they called and said I had been approved. So I got the house yesterday.
Wow.
Then I went to the studio. I teach at EVOLV Atlanta Acting Studio, which is about a block and a half away from the Tyler Perry studios. And my students came in, and somewhere in the middle of class, some fools started singing "Happy Birthday to Ya," and they can sing. I mean, it was good. Then they bought pizza, and they had bought cakes, and oh my God, it was so much fun. And I remember, as it was all happening, thinking, this is grace, because no one deserves. I mean, I couldn't have earned that kind of love, It's just like, it's God, it's good. So that's what my day was. And I went to bed last night thinking this is one of the best birthdays I have ever had, and I've had a few.
Indeed. Wonderful. Same with you. I did a little virtual birthday party as well, and experienced pretty much the same thing. People that you've been knowing for years, sharing their love and seeing your progress and where you are in life. It's just amazing that people still, even after years later, still share that love towards you. And so that's amazing. It's definitely amazing. So let's kind of dive on in and kind of introduce you to the world of the legacy builders that come on this live and this broadcast. Let's kind of tell them a little bit about your history, where you come from, your upbringing a bit, or what have you, before you got into the acting career. So let's kind of dive there.
Okay, fantastic. I will be presenting a play called, at the moment, it's the working title is Street Life. And Street Life chronicles a young artist who came into the world and whose parents had foreseen great things for him. He had a really great education. He had a loving parents. It was happening during the 60s. And then life happened. And the parents broke up. But I was that kid, and I went to Catholic school. I was educated. I was a pretty smart kid, pretty good in athletics. And somewhere in there, I saw that I wanted to make a difference. I remember that we had these awful neighbors, and my mom, I was 13 or so, and my mom was a single parent at that time. And they said, "We're gonna call the police on your mama, because you ain't supposed to be there babysitting." Oh my God, that scared the heck out of me. So I remember who did I call? I called some social service place and said, "How old do I have to be to babysit?" They told me I had to be like 13. And they said, "But you have to take this course." And the course was, like in case somebody like passed out or whatever. So I got this course done, and that was the beginning. Right. I became this dude who just like, if I wanted it, I just would go after it. Class president,
exactly.
A lot of things, I wanted to go to the Juilliard School of Acting because I wanted to be a classical actor. I wanted to follow in the footsteps of like Olivier or of those kinds of people because that's what I wanted. We were living in a time when our Blackness was a thing that we were made more aware of even than we are today. My parents raised me to live in both worlds, to live in the white man's world and to live in the world that was of our people, And I remember wanting to be a classical actor. So I didn't want to be judged just as, I didn't want to be limited. I didn't want to be limited. So long story short, I went into, I began acting. And Nichelle Nichols, who was the Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, she saw me and she put me into this little company of actors.
Wow.
And it was for NASA. We were doing this like show for NASA. And that was my first acting gig. And then in college, I was just, one of those kind of story kind of things. In college, these producers came down from Vegas and saw us and tried to take me to Vegas. My mama said, he's going to finish school. ABC's casting saw me in college and wanted me to be part of what they were developing. Mama said, he's going to finish school. So I decided to go to school for acting. And I went into this program in Milwaukee for classical actors. I was the black guy in there. And I went through a whole thing of not really knowing whether or not I was the token or the talent. I decided I had to become the talent. And I worked really hard. The other kids, they had, not all of them, but there was a lot of training that they have. We don't think about that. We don't think that there are kids right now who are in school, who are 8 and 9, whose parents are training them to be great actors. We don't think about those things because that's not our history. But I went there and I was not competing, but learning with them and having to learn a whole new way of being. Insecurities came up. I did date this wonderful woman who was the first Black woman to win Miss Milwaukee. And she was a classical violinist. And so there were some really wonderful experiences there. Went into New York, and I just fell in love with New York. I was a new face there. I remember walking into my first audition, and Eric LaSalle was there. He had just come off of doing, what's the name of that show? The show with Kings and Coming to America. He had just done Coming to America. And
gotcha.
There were all these young actors. Blair was there, and Ving Rhames, and I remember walking in, and they all knew each other. They're like, what's up? And Eric had on this leather coat, and I was like, I had never seen a coat that beautiful in my life. And they were talking, y'all, I see you later. Come on to the crib. And I'm thinking, what is a crib? I was that guy. Later on,
indeed,
we became friends, and I just auditioned and I worked, and I was very fortunate, maybe a little too fortunate. I moved very quickly into the theater world. did a lot of regional theater shows and off Broadway, and worked with the great Lynn Nottage in one of the first plays that she did out of Yale. Just amazing things. And then the reason that people knew me, was that Native Son with Oprah Winfrey came along.
Nice.
And thank God Denzel didn't want it. Thank God that Courtney Vance was unavailable. Thank God for all those little things that happened to an actor in his career. And I auditioned and I got the role. And that shifted the trajectory of my life. And it brought a lot of different things into my life that I wasn't really aware of, or didn't, nobody trained you how to be a celebrity. Nobody trained you how to be looked at all the time. Nobody trained you how to do that, and it was just weird to me. It was just strange. All of a sudden, this actor who I am became a celebrity, which is what I had never wanted. And it had its ups and its downs. But it was exciting to work with Oprah. Wow. It was exciting to,
yes,
be out with Cheryl Lee Ralph. That's who I was seeing at the time, and it was interesting to be in the public eye so much. I remember getting up to go to church one morning, and I'm that dude who's wrinkled. I get up, put on a wrinkled shirt, and put on a little hat. And Cheryl said, "You cannot dress like this." I said, "No, we ain't going nowhere." She said, "You gotta, So I did slowly begin to get some of that. So anyway, from there, I realized how painful it was to do that kind of work. He was a very pained character. And I did several other things after that. And then I took some time off, moved to California, did some Broadway, A Few Good Men, the original cast, those kinds of things, things that were good for my soul. And somewhere in there, life began to happen again. And I guess, you're at your 40s right now, and you will see what I mean, is that
right.
we begin to look at the direction that our lives are going, and to say whether my being here makes any difference. My being here has definitely made a difference, but maybe not. The trajectory wasn't what I thought, and I'm not making the difference in the way that I thought I would. Somewhere in there, I began to question purpose. I began to question legacy. I began to question the whole idea of a God, and wondering why it was that I was not achieving some of the fame and recognition that I had been foretold for me. And I kind of gave up a little bit. I was still going out to different functions, but I didn't. On the inside, something was missing, and I tried to fill that something with the drugs. I tried to fill that something with things that were not part of what I'm made of. I had a dark night of the soul, a dark period of time. In fact, you and I had spoken, and I told you I'd come to Georgia to see my mother. I came to Georgia because I had given up on myself. I'd given up on giving up. The one thing I did want was to see my family again. And I came and I just promised my God, please, just take this away from me. Just let me make a difference. Let me find my path back. And I was willing to give everything up, but that wasn't the plan. The plan was that I was to share what I had learned. And I was to say, no matter what you go through, if you really turn to that power that is greater than we are, the same way I turned to that power when I got to New York.
Yes.
The same way I turned to that power when I went into grad school. The same way I turned to that power. The answer's there, So it sounds kind of corny, I know, but but it's not. It's real, And I met a woman here how did that happen? Raven Drummer from Tyler Perry, she does Tyler Perry's casting, saw me waiting tables And she was her sweet self told me to come on in and meet her and do an audition. And I did. Nothing happened from it, but we became friends. And from there, I met someone else who asked me to teach an acting class, just a short acting class. And I agreed to do that. And that acting class, after I finished the 8 weeks that I was hired to do it for that person, her name is Roman James, I asked her, could I have the class? And can I make it mine? And she said, yes. And I remember Oprah having created Harpo. And I thought, I'm going to name this EVOLV, which is V-Love backwards. So I called it EVOLV, and I began teaching. And I have taught that class in restaurants, in small rooms, in houses. I've taught the class in the oddest places, but now we have our own studio. And that's what I love. Nice. And that's what I do. I still work. I've gotten much more into the work recently. Just finished doing an episode of Tyler Perry's Bruh. Did Ethan Hawke showcase. Showtime movie called The Good Lord Bird. I've done a lot of work, The Resident, et cetera, in the last few months. But my heart is in my studio, and no matter what, that is where I want to continue. So even when I'm working, the studio will go on. So that's kind of like the outline of what it is that Victor Love has been doing. And one other thing that Oprah said is, tell them your secrets before they come at you with them. Don't have no secrets, So now I have told you.
Absolutely.
I've told you, and I live with it. I live as someone who is an example. I hope that there is a way out, that there is a way back, that the life that I lead now is richer and more wonderful than the life that I thought I was going to lead. And the people in my life are fantastic. They are angels in skin.
Indeed. It's so interesting to hear your journey, how you said how when you came out the gate, you kind of sprung forward kind of quickly. And, you built this momentum, and all of a sudden things started taking a shift. And you mentioned that you kind of got into some other things like drugs or anything that was kind of taking you out of the direction of fulfilling your purpose, and you decided to take a break. But, what was the cause in that? Was it something that you were being influenced by, or was it just, the people that were around you that was kind of giving you that same, that was introducing you to things that kind of caused you to take your shift off of the focus of what you were doing to, a life of doing some things with drugs or other habits?
I think for me, it was the arrogance of believing that I was immune. It was the arrogance of this ain't gonna happen to me. I ain't like that. Look at me, I'm a success. It was also the fact that I began leading a secret life, I think. There was, as I said before, I didn't really enjoy being looked at. Y'all look at me now, shoot, I like being looked at now, but I did not like being looked at. I didn't feel worthy. And so I began going out after classes and even sometimes after church to little neighborhood bars and things, having a drink and sitting there and just being anonymous, just being, not having to be on is what I felt at the time. The industry has always had its ups and its gold and its dirt, So I would not say that the industry or anybody in the industry tempted me. In fact, to most of them, I was such a good boy. I was, sweet Victor Love. And none of them, like even when I talked with Sam and LaTanya, she said, "Why didn't you let us know that you were going through that?" And I said, "I don't know. I didn't let anyone know." When I'm looking back on it, and as I work with people now, sometimes the pain of life is so much, so horrible that we find an outlet in ways that maybe we wouldn't have to find an outlet if we had the kind of receptivity to medical help, to mental help, to, I think now looking back, it was the trauma of being a young Black American in a time of awful change and killings. And, the trauma doesn't mean it happens to me. Trauma happens because we see it. I went through trauma. And and people will tell you, I didn't drink, I didn't drug, I didn't do anything. And then one day I said, what the hell? Everybody else is doing it, and they seem like they're happy. So I was judging my insides by their outsides. And I tried it. It was fun. And then it became not fun. It became not fun. It began to replace the God-sized hole in my heart. And the only thing a God-sized hole can be filled with is God.
Yeah.
So, but it was arrogance. I just thought, it'll never happen to me. I'll do it now. I'll do it there. And it became a way out until I couldn't stop it. People were there for me, my family.
Wow.
And one of the things, Ace, that it really did for me was to make me less judgmental. I don't judge people by what they do anymore. There was a part of, I don't know if it's a part of your family too, but you see somebody out there and you're like, what the hell are they doing? Well, I understand what they're doing. They're running from their pain. They're doing all that they can do. They're doing the best they can do until somebody teaches them that we can do better. And I had that arrogance. I had that.
Absolutely.
I had that better than. I didn't know it. I thought I was just doing what people in my group did. But I look down on people, and I'm not proud of that.
Yeah, and it's a part of your journey. It's a part of your story because I say this, that when God takes you through a particular path in your journey, He's always going to use it for His benefit, and is also going to be tied to purpose and how you're able to encourage other actors, young or old, that get exposed to this industry and get exposed to other people, to even themselves, and to be more guarded and not be caught up in the fact that that you're achieving or you're accomplishing or you have notoriety or whatever, that you too can fall. You too can fall into the snares or the traps of the deception of what goes on in this industry. And people don't realize, they think, I have God, or I have religion, or I've never done it. I'm too good for that. But then a life circumstance will put you in a place that you find yourself doing the thing you say you would never do. And so it's just a part of your journey. And I'm glad that you were able to pull away from that to continue on in your life's journey.
Yeah. See, deception, by its very name, it does not show itself for what it is. It is in the valleys of life. It is in those corners that we take that's a shortcut. Deception is just that. Most of us don't think about deception. We think about getting up, going, moving forward, moving on up, and all of that. And that's where the deception lives. It lives in us taking the shortcuts, thinking that we can use each other to get someplace, forgetting that there's a human being right here who has feelings. I think the thing that's so interesting, though, is that people all know they all know they can fall. And they think they don't fall, but we fall in different ways. The thing that I think is really powerful is watching somebody rediscover that they can get up. Is watching someone discover they can get up. I don't have a need to floss. I don't have a need for you to think anything about me, because God has graced me with a way to make a living and graced me with family and friends. And so I can actually be pretty authentic. I can, and when I share the fact that I have been there, when I share the fact that I was living in the car, that trees were blowing down around me a few years ago when Atlanta was in trouble. When I share that, they can hear me. I don't need to be one person at a time, one life at a time. That's huge. So I never thought I would be this guy, but I've got to be this guy. And I have a reason to live, and I have a reason to teach. I have a reason to teach people that they have the answers inside of themselves, that God made us brilliant, and that we begin to listen to these voices that say we are not. And I'm like, I tell my kids, I say, don't bring that voice in here. See, you the one bringing that voice in here telling you can't do it. You the one bringing that voice in here telling you that you're too good, you ain't good enough. I said, I didn't invite that voice. I invited you. And so you come on in here, get that voice out there. You see, so I don't know. That's why Evolve is what it is. It's a mindful studio. We know that our success doesn't lie in outer stuff. Our success lies in finding the universe within ourselves and letting the sun come out. Our success lies in us being a family of actors who want the best for all of us. Our success lies in knowing how to use the tools the way that an athlete knows how to use his tools or her tools to become,
Indeed.
To share the gift that God gave us. And so we spend time on meditation, and we spend time in our own way on prayer. We never force anyone to pray, but we spend time in just getting still and creating life and using tools that are proven tools to get ahead and to celebrate who we are. And shoot, I could jump up and down right now, but that's dignified.
Absolutely. That is so wonderful just to hear, your journey and your story, just to hear how you started off as an actor. You had a moment of downfall, if you will, to get involved into drugs. And then you had a light bulb moment that, you realized that this wasn't, this is not your life. This is not where you are in life. And then you shifted, you still do acting, but then now you're a reproducer of yourself, if you will. And now you're teaching other people. And I know you said earlier about how you were invited to teach a class in, for someone else's school, and you asked to kind of like take that on as your own. But when did Evolve birth? Like it's its own separate entity, not under someone else, but when did that birth, and how did that take off from there? How did that build momentum?
Well, the woman, her name is Roman James, a beautiful woman. Good person. She was doing 8-week courses in different things. So she had an 8-week course of acting, an 8-week course of building your career, the different little sections like that. And so when it was interesting, Fox News Atlanta found out that I was going to be teaching. Now, I don't even know that Fox News Atlanta knew or cared who I was, but they did. And they put me on their morning show. And I told them, they said, "Welcome to Atlanta." And I'm like, yo, yay. And I told them I had been here years ago. I did a TV series here years ago. And it was my first time doing a series regular. And I loved Atlanta. But anyway, long story short. So they put me on TV, and they were talking about this, that I was going to be teaching. And then we had like 2 students before I got on there. And then after I was on there, we had a whole classroom full of students. So we did this thing for 8 weeks. And when it was finished, the students were saying, "Well, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do?" And I asked Roman, I said, "Well, can we keep doing this?" She says, "No." She goes, "My business plan is just to do 8-week classes. It isn't to do, a whole series." And I said, "Well, then can I have it?" She says, "Yeah." So then I took it, and once she was no longer involved, I didn't have a space to teach in, and I didn't have any of the stuff that she had brought to the table, and so from there we began just word of mouth and different people coming in, and Raven from the Tyler Perry Studios, she came and saw the class, and she began recommending people to me. Other directors were doing the same thing. It was in 2009 that I did the class with Roman, and Evolve was born in 2010. And we've gone continually. We've had maybe a year off here and a year off there, but we've gone pretty much continually since then. And now I'm at the Art Exchange. The Art Exchange is a community-based nonprofit organization that is in East Point. And I have a studio there, and I teach my classes. But we teach when we could. We were doing a seniors class, so we had the seniors coming in, and they had their own class, and they were doing their dancing and their acting, and that was amazing. And then we had a teen class, and these are both free. We had a teen class when teens were coming in, and it's so wonderful to see young men and young women when they just becoming who they are, just full of themselves, and we had them in there. So at the Art Exchange, it's a community-based place that I love, and it's been a blessing. It's been amazing. So that'd be what it'd be.
Indeed. It's wonderful. As it's coming into live, I'm interviewing celebrity guest, actor Victor Love is telling his story. No worries, and late, you can go back and watch the replay. It is available on Facebook Live as well as YouTube, so you can go back to his story. I'm telling his journey. His story is phenomenal, and it's definitely going to inspire you, especially of those of you who are just trying to get into the acting field. And this is expressing said that he had an acting class for seniors and he had it for young. So that means that it does not matter your age. This as a career. I give the queens in the Black Panther movie. She was doing very well, has been in many things since then, and so it's an encouragement to you that you can go after whatever career path, whatever age bracket. So go back into that a little bit about your acting school. Now, from what I understand, you and I kind of breezed through your website and kind of saw that you worked with recording artist Janelle Monáe, award-winning acting role. So how did that come about, and how did you ended up working with her?
The simple answer is God. That's a simple answer. But I guess
Indeed.
You want me to tell you the little details. It's the phone call here and the phone call there. So let me just do it like that. She was someone recommended me to her. She wanted to find an acting coach in Atlanta, which is where her studio and where she was living. And she wanted to find an acting coach. And I was recommended to her. And her agent from California called me up and asked me would I be interested in teaching her. And I did a little bit with my own vetting and to see who she was. And she did some vetting to see who I was. We got together. And it was she was just beginning to audition for really major things. When I coach someone, and I've worked on Bad Boys 3 and a couple of other films as a coach, but when I coach someone, what I do is I take the script and I break the script down so I can look at the story. And then once the script is broken down, the actor and I talk about what it is that's going on in the scene, in the script, and then we find the emotional connection that they have to what's going on in the script. We don't want to just bring our voices and our bodies to the role. Great acting involves our feelings, our history, and Janelle was very, very up for that. Just very hard worker. So we worked on the first audition I think we worked on was anyway, the first audition she got all the way to the very end of the process, and we flew to California for the audition. She was fantastic, and they went with another actress who did a very good job. Then we did it again, So when Moonlight came along, she called me up and asked me would I work with her, and I said yes, and she killed it. And then when the Hidden Figures came along, we worked on that, and she killed it. And then
Indeed.
Yeah, so that's how Janelle came along, but she's a really hard worker. She's a very socially conscious woman. And so the two of us, we hit it off really well. My background and her background worked well. Um, when I did have a relapse during that period, she was there, offered me finances to get well. It happened. It happened anyway. And that's one of the things about being a person who's in recovery. We don't always stay in recovery. I'm living one day at a time right now. And when that did happen, unfortunately, she did have to make a decision to move on. But she has recommended me to other people. That's how I got Bad Boys 3 and a lot of other things. So, and we communicated about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and she's doing well. She sent me some love. Yeah, so I have worked with some amazing people.
Indeed.
And the other part of it is I know how to act. I know what that is. I'm not someone who it is not for me just like you do it. I know the tools necessary, and there are tools. As I have gotten older and as I have moved into what I'm doing, I'm ready. I believe I'm going to be doing a lot more acting, but it will never take the place of me being a mentor. The kids call me coach. The kids call me dad, and the kids can be 74 years old. They call me, like you said, age don't matter. We all work together to share what we know and to move forward in that area. With the pandemic going on, I have an online class that I teach, and that's been wonderful because it's the way we use the medium. I'm very aware that there's a way to use the medium, and then there's a way that people can be, talking over here when I'm right here, so those are little things that they learn. And then I have 3 socially distanced class with advanced actors where they come in, there's 8 of them in each class. They come in and we work on scene work, and they are just growing. We are like in a cocoon in this pandemic. When they go out to work, you're gonna meet some amazing actors, gorgeous, physically, bright inside the light. Oh God, I love them.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's just amazing to see how you're parting into these people's lives and seeing how their journey is taken on, even to see the impartation that you've given to Janelle Monet, and how, you see, I mean, you're an actor, so you can see how actors that are music artists that take on the role of an actor, and they've had acting coaches, but they, lack of a better word, suck in their acting or in their abilities. And so, to see how you have taken her pretty much straight out the gate, first time around doing acting and winning awards or what have you straight out. I mean, that is an amazing accomplishment, and I applaud you for that and what it is that you're doing. And that speaks volumes about.
But she, I just want to say that
go ahead.
She's the hardest working person I think I've ever met. I know that, I grew up with Angie Bassett. I grew up with Lorraine Toussaint. I grew up with all these wonderful actors, Wesley Snipes. They were hard workers, and they are hard workers. But Janelle worked hard. She had an audition for something, and she worked 10 hours straight. Worked me 10 hours straight. And I'm thinking, I'm making money, but this girl's going to kill me. She's going to kill me, because she just would not stop till she got it right that day. So, I've been there. And all I probably did with Janelle was give her some skills. She's a magnificent energy in the planet, and she's here for more than her acting. She's here to change the world.
Absolutely. And again, it still speaks to your abilities to work with a person like that, to help take them to the next level. They can still be driven and focused, but it takes someone that has capabilities as a mentor that and to make it into what it is. So yes, we definitely gonna give credit to Janelle because of her hard work ethic, but at the same time too, I do have to credit you as her acting coach to bring her to the places she's at, because like I said, there's a lot of people that come out the gate that are inspiring to be actors, and they're in the music industry, and they come in and they do a very poor job, or they have to get their flow for a while. They have to get in a couple of bad acting roles in order for them to finally get some momentum, and so that really speaks volumes to you. So I do want to kind of put this shameless plug out there for you directly for your school. For those that want to be involved, kind of tell us a little bit about the process of how your school works and how they can register or sign up for your acting school.
It's pretty easy. You go to, I see that you have the website under here, www.evolveatlanta.com, and there's an application there. You fill out the application, somebody from the studio will call you, and you'll talk to them on the phone. They'll ask you what it is you want to do. And then they'll most likely invite you to come and view a class. With the pandemic going on, we've kind of cut down on that, but that's what would happen. After that happens, we evaluate, and you evaluate whether it's a place you really want to be or whether it's not, because we don't play there. We play at working hard. It isn't a place where you go and you do little exercise. It's a place where you go and you change your life. You're delving deeply into yourself and into your soul and finding a reason why this character needs to live. And if you don't find a reason why he needs to live, he's not going to live. He's going to be tossed out. And that's one of the things we do. We work from a couple of books and a couple of different techniques. I work with Bill Esper, a very famous and powerful acting coach in New York when I was there. And I worked with Ivana Chubbuck, who was the acting coach for Halle Berry and a lot of the other notable actors, Brad Pitt. And so what I do is I bring a combination of what they taught me plus my own experience to the work. Classes are set up so that you come into class with a scene. I give you a scene from a famous movie, Empire maybe, and you'll do those two roles. I have two cameras. I have one camera here and one camera there. The person over here is looking at this camera, the person over there is looking at that camera. And you act your scene socially distanced, and we look at it on a monitor. You get critiqued, and you're asked the basic questions, the ABCs of acting. What are you fighting for? Why do you need to get what you need to get? You know, what is this relationship? And we have very technical terms that would be boring to non-actors at the moment. Once that happens, they're critiqued on tape. They will take their scene, they will work on it and look at the tape to see how the notes that I'm giving them, whether the notes work or they don't work, but they'll look at the tape, and then they'll come back the next week and they will do the scene again. And we always are there to build muscle. We're there to get stronger, to balance the instrument. We're not there to floss. I told people, you know, when I go to the gym, I sweat and I don't look good. But I said, when I walk down that red carpet, people don't be thinking about what I had to do to look like this. They're looking at the finished product. The actor has to remember that too. You are there to work your butt off. You are there to cry and to find what you need in a private and safe environment. And then when you're on the screen, it's easy. I got two actors right now doing films. And one of them called me the other day, and she's like, Victor, you know, you were right. And I said, of course. Well, what am I right about this time? You know, I said, and she said, your class is harder than anything I'm doing here on the set. Because you have trained me to come here, to know my lines, to know what I'm fighting for. She goes, and everybody else is walking around like, you know, I won't say what she said, but she was saying that she was prepared. Another actor who just did some work said he was amazed when he went on the set, and he was the only one who was prepared. He was the only one who knew what to expect. And that people are going, my God, wow, look at you. And he's like, this is just what we do. So that's what we do in the studio. Every month, it's a continual program. Every month, you come back and you keep working. If you get strong with this muscle over here, then we start working on this muscle right here. You know, it's that kind of thing. And we work at it from a mindful place. The thing that I learned back in New York from some of the greats, the work will never let you down. The industry will, but the work will never let you down. And so we work at doing the work. Now, when we get paid for it and they call that a job, we're doing the work. A lot of actors get a job and they go, oh my God, I got a job. What's the big deal? You do this every single day, or you should be. And if you're with Evolve Atlanta, you probably will be, because you ain't paying me to tell you look good. Look in the mirror for that. You're paying me to look at you as that part of you that you can't see, that part of us that we can't see of ourselves. And I hope that I do it with love. I do it because I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to be unprepared for what the internet throw at you. I'm a papa bear in some ways, and I'm teaching my baby bears how to get that honey, you know. So
Indeed.
That's how they would do it, actually. So that's all
Absolutely.
It takes.
You know, and that's amazing. You know, that mindset of a mentor or a teacher, a lot of people do not understand that. You know, that Papa Bear mentality, because you're teaching from a place of experience, because you are an experienced actor. You do have an IMDb page that shows your list of work that you've done, instead of somebody that's a fly by night trying to say that they have some experience and trying to come on and try to teach something that they read out of a book. And so your perspective is definitely different, because you know what it's like on set. You know what you have to deal with certain individuals and certain, situations in that regard. And so, of course, you're going to teach them from that. And so a lot of people won't understand your passion behind the way that you teach until they're in that experience. And that's why your mentee told you, this is hard. What you teach is hard, but while I'm on set, this is not as difficult, but you're preparing them for every scenario. And that's amazing, amazing way of teaching, to prepare them, even if it's not going to be the same likely scenario every time. That's great.
That's very kind of you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No problem. So what's on the horizon for you? I know you said you're going to be doing some more acting roles. What's on the horizon for you? Are there some projects that's on the way of being released that you've already worked on, or some things that you're actually being asked to be a part of? Kind of give us a little bit what's going on that you're legally okay to share.
Well, I have a one-man show that may or may not stay a one-man show. And it is called Street Life, as I was telling you before. And this is it right here. And it has all these pages of different people who were part of this journey. And I had been writing it with Lee Richardson, who passed away last month, one of the creators of the Crossroads Theater in New Jersey. Definitely the only Black Tony-winning, I believe, Black theater company. But anyway, we were writing it together, and it was really kind of cool. But he passed away, but I'm going to finish it. And what's in the process for that piece is that my students will be doing the different characters in a Zoom reading on August 20th. It's in a series called 3x3 series, and they have their own page, but it'll also be on my page, Victor L. Love. It'll also be on the Evolve Atlanta page. And so you'll see about 14 different characters. You'll see Sister Jeanette, you'll see my mama, my young daddy, you'll see my mentor Hal Scott, you'll see all these different people that I've written that I one day will play. That's going on. I also am beginning to film the Street Life, and we're going to do the filming of it very much like one of the people I really admire, John Leguizamo, where I will come in and I'll be Mama Grand. Then I'll come in and I'll be this other character, and we're going to do the whole thing, the whole makeup and the whole background and things. So that's my project that I'm working on. In the studio, we're getting ready to form an acting company. And that's a thing that we've been planning for a couple of years, to get some pieces together to work on them. But I know that you're asking me about professional, what I'm doing. What I'm doing that means the most to me is I'm living my life one day at a time. And I'm living my life in a way that encourages others to know that they too can make it. I am paying attention to the small details of life. Do you know how amazing it was to me when I realized that I was blessed because I could breathe, because the coronavirus was taking it away from people? Do you know how blessed I was that I had a health? There are so many things that the world is teaching me right now that I need to be grateful for. And gratitude to me is an action word. It means to take care of what it is that I'm thankful for. And I'm grateful for this life. I'm grateful for this serenity and the sanity. I'm grateful for a connection with a higher power. I'm grateful to the men, women, students that love me. I'm grateful to the ideas that keep me getting up every day. You know, that's what I'm going to be doing. And God is going to bless me with things, but He's already blessed me with serenity and peace of mind. And I mean, like, look at you. You come out here and find me on Facebook again after we met so long ago. You know, I didn't think I'd be doing this. I didn't find this.
Indeed.
It's a wonderful show. It's a wonderful show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And even to what you just said, even in your journey of taking one step at a time, I think what also is the motivator for you to maintain your focus, even in being in recovery, is knowing that your life is way bigger than about you. And to know that you have people that is hinging upon you doing what you do best, which is to inspire people as an actor and to teach others and to mentor others. And I think just even those that are listening to this series, to know that when you know that your life is bigger than just you, and that you hold somebody else's future in your hands, or just by you being you, then I think that will keep your focus. I think that will inspire you to just continue to move forward. So, we're friends now. And so, with that being said, you do have a brother in me, especially when you have those moments of difficulty. And just sometimes you just need to be able to lean on one another, just to encourage one another, just like I'm doing now on this broadcast, because I believe what you're doing is great and doing is amazing. And it's inspiring a lot of people, especially those that are tuning into this live. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. But you know what? We have some big old footsteps to jump into. You and me and Barack Obama, we share a birthday. There's
Indeed.
Indeed. We are that we're supposed to do something good.
Absolutely. I believe it, and it's a couple of others that have the same birthday that actually are doing some great things in the world. And, to a degree, we're all overachievers. We want to do, we're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to go above and beyond. That's just in our nature. I think that's those that have August 4th birthdays. But, I think that what's I think that speaks volumes to our lives. So as another question before we get out of here, which I ask all of my guests, and I think you already touched on it, but I want you to kind of, dive in it a little bit more, or what have you, in building and creating legacy. When it's time for you to ascend on, what is it that you want to be remembered by? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
A life of service is a life worth living. A life without service will be forgotten. And if one person who has looked at me and said, wow, he did that, if that one person goes on, as the Jewish faith goes, there goes the world.
Indeed.
I believe that. And that my legacy will speak for itself, as to what I ultimately end up meaning to different people. But it is not how you begin the race. It's how you end it. So yes, I have gone through all these different things, but I'm running a race, and I'm just running it for myself, and then that keeps me energized. So that probably will be what they say about me. Besides the fact that they say all kinds of things like, he crazy, Mr. Love, this and that. I don't know. And I want them to love, and I want them to know that they're worthy of love. Because if they can love me, they can love themselves, and they can love anybody.
Indeed, indeed. Well, God bless you with the last name for a reason. So, and that's what you do. That's what you do. I can, just even in this interview, I can just see how your passion and the love of what you do and the love for people and what you do just exudes through you. So your name is very, very appropriate.
It's a hard name to live by, though. Victor Love. I'm like, God, why are you reminding me every day what I got to do? But we do win through love. We do win through
Indeed,
love. Yes,
indeed.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, thank you for hearing my invitation. Indeed. You have definitely blessed my life today. And just to hear your story, because, we only talked we talked a little bit, but we really didn't talk. So I don't know a lot of your journey. And so just to hear what you have done and what you are doing, it's really, really inspiring. So if you guys look at the links on the description below, I want you to follow his Facebook pages and his social medias, as well as his website. If you're interested in acting, he is a phenomenal acting coach. He has a long history of acting that he's done, and you'll be able to receive from him. As I believe, because of the pandemic, are you opening up your acting school for those that are not in the Atlanta area?
That's what the online classes are. And I do have students from New York and LA that are on my on the Zoom classes right now, and all of that can be found on the website. So yeah, yes.
Absolutely. So follow his pages. I guarantee you it's going to help shift the trajectory of your life. Those that want to get in acting, be it big or small, be it stage plays. He has done, check out his IMDb page. You will see that he's done a lot, and he has a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of wisdom in this field that can help take you to that level. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming on, being with me for this hour. Hold that thought. Don't get off just yet. I'm going to come back to you after the broadcast. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So as we get ready to get out of here, you guys, no problem. As we get ready to get out of here, you guys, I want to also thank you all as well, again, for those that have helped celebrate my birthday, as well. As you heard, me and Victor both share the same birthday. His birthday was yesterday as well. And so thank you guys for the love. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing your comments and sharing your love for those that have been watching for this series. We have been going on a month strong, and we started in July, and we're continuing on until the end of September. But I also want to tell you this. This is from July through the end of September is going to be season 1. Yes, that means that this series is going to continue on. And so, it's building in a way that I never thought it was going to build to, but it's inspiring people. And that is the whole objective, regardless of if I never become a millionaire or anything, as long as I can inspire and to empower people to pursue after their purpose and their destiny. That's what's important. That's what's important. I don't need no accolades. I don't need no thank yous. Just as long as whatever that I've done in my life or on this broadcast or on these lives to inspire you to do something new in your life, that's enough in itself. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Be on the lookout for the commercial for next week's show. It's going to be coming up in the next few days, and it's going to be some more amazing guests that's going to be on again every Monday and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys again, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you for viewing the Legacy Builders series. Tune in July through August, Mondays and/or Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with special guest panelists to appear. Want to be a guest or a sponsor? Send your request via email to legacybuilderstv@gmail.com. Till next time, go forth and build legacy.